What's going on, everybody? AQDevi here and welcome back. If you're new here, I dive into all things Call of Duty Zombies. Today though, we're switching things up a bit with something a little more controversial. You see, I put out a tweet the other day saying I'm a COD Zombies optimist, maybe to a fault, and I invited you all to hit me with your biggest grievances over the years. I promised I'd defend them as best I could, but also maybe go that extra step and just give the complete opposite idea its chance to shine. And wow, did you guys deliver. We got some killer replies and it sparked this whole idea for a video. If you haven't seen the thread, check it out on my Twitter or X at AQDevi, link in the description. But basically, fans called out everything from armor replacing shields to the unified engine making zombies feel less unique. So in this video, I'm going to go through the top grievances from that thread, defend them with my optimist hat on, then flip it and give you my honest take. We'll tie it all together with why zombies has evolved this way and if it's for better or worse. This got quite a few replies, so grab your juggernog, settle down, and let's defend some flaws. If you enjoy this kind of debate, smash that like button early, it helps a ton, and subscribe if you're not already. Alright, let's jump in. First up, one of the big ones from Stupid Fast Uno, who says, replacing shields with armor has been my biggest grievance. Lost a lot of character in maps by not having a map-specific shield, and not a fan of sharing a system with Warzone. But now we're protected 360 degrees. It's even easily replenished by drops on the ground. Think about it, shields were only really used for that passive protection on your back, stopping those annoying hits from behind while you focused on shooting forward, but they didn't cover your sides or front at all in that state. With armor, you get true, always-on 360-degree protection without any switching or positioning required, keeping you safe no matter what direction you're hit. Replenishing is a breeze too. Zombie drops keep you stocked with plates so you're not constantly forced to return to the same crafting table all game. In BO6, with faster hordes and tough enemies swarming from all sides, the system lets you stay in the fight longer, making defense more reliable and integrated into the modern fluid gameplay loop. In all honesty though, losing out on the map-specific aesthetics of the shields is definitely a loss with armor. Those buildable shields were tied to the lore and vibe of each map, like the zombie shield in Shadows of Evil that fit the noir horror theme perfectly, or the dragon shield in Gorod Krovi that rewarded exploration and knowledge of many of the map systems. Armor feels too generic, stripping away that unique flavor Treyarch used to bake into every element. It makes maps blend together more, and yeah, while it's practical, it sacrifices immersion for convenience. I'd love to see a hybrid where armor is the baseline, but you can upgrade or customize it with map-specific parts to bring back that personal touch. Otherwise, it just feels like we're losing what made zombies stand out as its own mode. Next up, a solid point from Kraize, who says, making all CODs going forward use the same IW engine has robbed Treyarch zombies of its secret sauce and made BO6 feel like a Modern Warfare Zombies spin-off mode, and will do the same to BO7. The identity is gone. Not having to build up a game engine every year from the ground up saves dev time for the things that really matter. That means more resources poured into what really matters, killer maps, deep lore, and those mind-blowing Easter eggs. The unified engine allows for smoother crossovers like sharing weapons or operators between modes, which keeps everything feeling connected and up to date. Visually, it's a step up too. Think about the enhanced lighting and particle effects in BO6 Zombies that make explosions and zombie hordes pop in a way the old engines couldn't handle. It streamlines development so Treyarch can focus on innovation instead of wrestling with outdated tech. Ultimately, it's about delivering a polished experience faster, keeping the community engaged with frequent updates and less bugs. I do completely agree with this. Treyarch Zombies had this gritty, arcadey feel that set it apart from Infinity Ward's smoother, more realistic style, with that perfect blend of clunky movement and raw survival that made every round feel earned. Now, with the unified engine, everything blends into a more generic COD feel, and Zombies can come off as an add-on rather than the standalone mode it once was. The secret sauce was in those quirks. The specific physics, animations, and even sound design that screamed Treyarch. While it saves time, it dilutes the identity, and I'd trade some polish for an authentic vibe any day. Alright, moving on to Tranzit Lover 9000's take, who says Zombies is so easy it's boring. The barrier to entry is so much smaller, and now many more people are able to enjoy Zombies, its Easter eggs and story, and even get to high rounds. Zombies started as this punishing side mode in World at War, but making it easier means more players can enjoy it without rage quitting early. Building a bigger community and keeping the mode supported supported with updates. Features like self-revives, armor tiers, and guided modes let newbies experience the full lore and Easter eggs without the old-school frustration, while vets can still challenge themselves with no-perk Easter eggs or high rounds. It's inviting more people to discover why we love it, ensuring Zombies evolves and stays alive. And I'll actually give my honest take by using my response to a similar post from Keegster Hawk Pro Hater, who said, "It caters way too much to multiplayer and Warzone players to get them to spend time in the mode instead of placating hardcore Zombies fans a lot more." I agree, Zombies started separate from all the other modes, it should stay that way and keep its identity. The old games had that raw, unforgiving horror where one mistake could end your run, creating tension and replay value. Modern changes have softened it a bit too much, turning survival into a casual grind where boredom sets in because death feels inconsequential. It hits hardcore fans hard, we want that adrenaline from the classics. Treyarch should add more difficulty toggles or classic modes to bring back the bite without alienating newcomers. Now, William Bennett hit on weapon rarities by simply saying, well, weapon rarities? I'd say the same argument applies for this and the 3-PAP system, which is this. These systems allow for multiple moments of getting a strong power spike versus the normal pack once or twice and be dealing as much damage as you will for the rest of the game. Instead of pack-a-punching once or twice and maxing out early, you get ongoing progression with rarity upgrades, multiple packs. Each level feels like a mini victory, keeping even those later rounds sort of exciting. It adds strategy too. You're deciding when to farm essence for packs, when to farm salvage for rarity boosts, tying into map flow and risk reward. In BO6, it also integrates augments and crafting, making runs more customizable and replayable. No more stale late game where your gun's as good as it'll get. While it may be seen as lazy, there is some depth to it. And this one's actually a genuine take for me, no devil's advocate needed. The old system could plateau fast, leaving high rounds as just endurance tests. Now there's constant motivation to push further for that next upgrade. I suppose I could say getting that mega boost from a single pack is that exciting, but ultimately that feeling is short-lived. Alright, another one from LucarioProject, who says, super sprinters have been the one thing that has diminished my enjoyment of the games post BO4 more than anything else, since it kind of amplifies other issues. They're not a fun challenge to deal with, they're an unfair annoyance that essentially force a camp strat on every map. All I can say is longer game equals harder. Super sprinters add escalating difficulty as rounds progress, forcing players to adapt strategies and move more thoughtfully, keeping the game dynamic. It encourages movement and map utilization, making high rounds more intense and rewarding for those who master training or camping spots. But damn, the sprinters should never be faster than us with stamina up. Yeah, they're a real pain. They amplify issues like tight map design or weapon balance, turning fun challenges into frustrating chases that actually limits playstyles. Post BO4, it feels like they've shifted the mode from strategic survival to constant evasion, reducing enjoyment for casual runs. Treyarch could tweak their speed or add counters to make them less oppressive while still keeping the tension. Alright, one from Ace that's kinda related to the last one, who says, boss zombie spam is annoying on higher rounds. Higher rounds are meant to be harder. The constant bosses are part of what makes pushing past round 50 a true test. That said, it can feel overwhelming for solo play. Maybe Treyarch could add some spawn caps or better counters to balance it without losing the intensity. And yes, once again, I genuinely believe this. Now, there are issues of balance to keep in mind, of course, but as I followed up with, I personally love that chaotic feeling, which is why I liked all the specials and elites in the Abomination Challenge. Here's a good one from MasonLXIX, who says, Origin's Easter egg was so revolutionary and great on launch, they wanted to copy it, and they did on BO3. They thought people wanted complex Easter eggs, and BO4 happened. Origins is unironically peak and the cause of zombies' downfall, and I will die on this hill. After a bit of explaining and realizing he was okay with the egg difficulties in modern zombies, I have my honest take saying, I completely agree with your sentiment. I'll say my perfect vision of how eggs should work is the main egg should be about the difficulty we have now, but they should implement a hardcore version of eggs, like in World War II, for the people that really want it stepped up a notch. Alright, here we have a take from a fairly new zombies player from Sevaunaaa, who says, I was late to the COD community, but taking the time to go play the older games, I was kinda annoyed on how difficult they were since I had only played new games. Now that I've learned to love them and can navigate those games, I think it's become too easy for most maps and games. Having a smaller barrier to entry is a positive. Lowering the difficulty curve means more newcomers like you can jump in and stick around long enough to appreciate the mode. It opens up Easter eggs and lore to a wider audience, and for vets there are still ways to crank up the challenge with self-imposed rules or high round pushes. I do believe difficulty makes a better player, and I'm sure we can all agree a little extra difficulty with the right implementation is a net positive for everyone long term. Yeah, once you master the classics, the newer maps can feel too forgiving. The easiness of a map reduces the satisfaction of overcoming tough setups, like those brutal early rounds in BO1. Treyarch could balance it better with optional hardcore variants to satisfy both sides. Another one from WatermelonSniper who says, "What are your thoughts on LTMs? I hate content being vaulted away. It promotes FOMO, which increases interest in the mode. Limited time modes create excitement and urgency, encouraging players to log in during events for unique experiences, like holiday maps or special rule sets. Vaulting keeps the game fresh by rotating content and preventing overload. It builds community hype and gives devs room to experiment without permanent commitments." Honestly, you got me there. Every LTM should be made permanent. It makes the time and resources that much more worth it. Yes, I agree, vaulting LTMs sucks. It locks away fun content like seasonal variants or crossover events, making them inaccessible for new players or those who missed out. Zombies thrives on replayability. Treyarch should make them permanent options, or at least cycle them more often to avoid that FOMO and wasted dev effort. And finally, a grievance from the one, the only Margwa International, who says, "Intel not being spell checked, Fortnite mention, or checked in general, Shattered Veil Intel having the wrong date, and the many contradictions in the storyline." This one is really hard to defend, but I guess small inconsistencies at a certain point can be explained away later and also leaves room for theorizing. These oversights might be minor in the grand scheme, as the storyline contradictions allow for creative retcons and multiversal twists that keep the lore fresh and open to interpretation. Errors could become Easter eggs or nods to broader gaming culture, as just a couple examples. It adds a layer of community discussion and theory crafting that engages fans beyond the game. That's the best I got though, honestly. Yeah, it's sloppy. Poor spell checking and date errors break immersion in a mode built on deep lore, and contradictions make the narrative feel inconsistent rather than cleverly layered. Treyarch should prioritize quality control on Intel to respect the dedicated story followers. Fixing these would make the Dark Aether saga more cohesive and satisfying. Whew, okay, we made it. Looking at these all together, it's clear Zombies has changed a ton. As an optimist, I see the upsides: more players, better performance, constant updates. But yeah, we've lost some of the game's soul along the way. Treyarch needs to find a way to blend the best of both. Keep the modernizations, but add toggles for classic modes. I'd also like to personally thank all of the beautiful people involved in this video. I'll leave their Twitter handles and other applicable social media on screen and in the description below. Please go and support them. I absolutely love this community and its ongoing goal towards mostly positivity and good ideas for the future of zombies. But what about all of you? What's your biggest grievance, and do you agree with my defenses? Comment down below, I'll shout out the best ones in a future video. If at any point you found this video enjoyable, go ahead and like, subscribe, and all that for more Zombies deep dives. Follow me on Twitter or X at AQDevi for fun Zombies thoughts and ideas like this. Thank you all for watching. I've been AQDevi, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.